follow the prompts on your screen.
Okay, guys, let's see. Got a bunch of questions here. Okay, let's talk about this. I think this is a good question here. Gerald, what are some things you did every day to help improve your tonality? Matt, start here. When you were a client, started learning advanced tonality, what were some exercises we try to do in the training portals and we try to do to really get the tone right? You're muted, Matt, I think.
Or was it that I
Could
was
be
using,
trouble.
was I using a tone that was to draw you in?
A quiet tone. A
quiet
tone that has no sound.
Yeah, for sure. So like for me, it was having an understanding of like the simple things. So I was using my face, right? So kind of overemphasize the face and then have a real understanding as to like just working on one at a time. Like playful and curious tones are quite easy, right? Like we can all do them. Like everyone can do it all because like you do it if you're skeptical about something, you sound that way. If you're curious, you sound that way. So, you know, it's just about having a look and then realizing the things that you're doing in your face and in your throat and in your voice with your tongue while you're doing those things and just being more aware of it. And then from there, it sort of becomes second nature. And then if you write that stuff into your script, it becomes quite easy, right? So you give yourself a cue, skeptical cone, or you know what I mean. But the easiest thing to do is to work on pauses. Pauses is the easiest thing to get right. Probably the biggest bang for buck. If somebody had a very strange way of talking or like a shaky voice, you know, the sales reps with shaky voices, that's a hard one to get good at. But like then what you can do is just work on your pausing because that will have the lowest hanging fruit, highest amount of effect.
Yeah, and Marco, I wanted to ask you because you know you have you got a unique experience here because when long before you're here now running a company and stuff, you were a client years ago and you were selling to English speaking leads, but you speak Italian, and 4 years ago your English was definitely not as good as it is now. So you had to really learn tone to be able to sell. What did
Are
you
you
do?
Italian?
You're Italian? No way, I didn't know it.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I am. So that's an interesting topic because I think that's everyone asks me in terms of sales, right? Because I resonate with an audience of people that don't speak fully English or either they're from different countries, right? I think the most important things that I had to learn is understand what posing means, right? I think Matt as well, as Matt, of course, helped me out during the years with the sales scripts and stuff, and you, Jeremy, as well. The first things I don't know if you remember, Matt, we put the poses in the script. Pose, 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 pose.
Yeah,
So,
you remember the periods you guys all saw on the slides? What I would like the periods that we saw on the slide, we put that there so you could see verbal pauses. Go ahead, Marco.
Exactly right. So by understanding that, then you break your own pattern of just saying things. So you just go, right? So, and then you regain the ability of meaning what you're saying. Because if you're posing, you think about what you're saying, then you can adjust what? Your body posture to your tonality, and then things comes along. So go ahead, Jeremy.
No, it's verbal pacing. So we teach all this in our virtual training courses, but it's called verbal pacing, verbal pausing, and verbal cues. So when you're asking questions, the biggest reason why your prospects, when you guys ask questions, give you like vague, generalized, surface level answers is because you ask the questions so fast, quite literally, they have no time to internalize what you're asking. So they just give you a knee-jerk reaction. It's like if you walk into a furniture store, hey, welcome into the store today. How can I help you? Just looking. See, it's a triggered reaction. All right. Hey,
are you just looking around?
Well, hey, welcome in the store today. Are you guys just kind of out looking around? Yeah. Oh, okay. Do you know what you're looking for? See, I'm triggering them to like come with me and like trigger curiosity. Like I'll give you an example of verbal pacing here. I just did this for some different clients. So this is an NPQ problem awareness question. Let's say that you're selling insurance and the prospect says they have like $100,000 work policy. Okay, but they're still in the call with you. I mean, I'm not understanding you. You have the $100,000 work policy. What's caused you to feel like that's not enough? See the verbal pause there. Okay, that causes them to internalize what I'm asking. Okay. See what I
You
did
remember
right?
the question that I asked you, which is basically the reason why we're here? Do you remember that?
What?
Because I figured out I was the only person to ever figure it out, like without being prompted. And like all the students that you had was, I said, when you pause before or after a question, is that because you're deliberately socially cueing to for someone to answer things in a particular way, like this, and
Yeah.
this? And you went, yes. And you said, you're the only one to figure that out.
Yeah. So you can
And then about
control.
a day later, you asked me to be your sales rep.
Right. Yeah. So let's say you're a real estate agent. This is another example of verbal pacing. I mean, your home, let's say you're trying to get the listing. Your home is really beautiful. I mean, what's caused you to feel like you might want to sell it? See the verbal pause before you might want to sell it. I'm emphasizing this and I'm causing the prospect to internalize this part of the sentence by simply verbal pausing right before I get there. Does that make sense to everybody? Now, I'm going to show you another example here and we're going to answer more questions here. Okay. Um, let's see right here. So let me give you an example. Most salespeople say, "Hey, let me ask you something," and then they just bulldoze the question, right? But I'm going to suggest you don't do that. I'm going to say, can I ask you something? Yeah, what's going on? See, verbal pacing, pausing triggers curiosity. Does that make sense to you? Okay, verbal cues. This is another way. Marco, tell us about verbal cues. When you learn that.
So the most important things that I learned out of that is, so, and I think everyone can resonate. You tend to say okay all the time, right?
Yeah,
Especially that's because you're nervous.
yeah.
And I used to do that a lot, especially when I
Gotcha,
first started.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Awesome.
gotcha. Okay, and stuff like that. So when you regain the ability to think about what you say, because you start getting confidence about the questions, then you can use some of the words before the question to help you to lead in the question better. Out of curiosity, I guess, do you know what you're looking for specifically? So by using that word, you install what is it? Is you're justifying without saying that you're justifying.
Yeah,
What is it you're doing? Because otherwise, some of the questions, especially when you're fairly new, um, since you're coming from an old method, they look invasive, right? So the
yeah,
first transition to not have invasive question to what you guys have in the script right now, when you're assuming, is to add out of curiosity, and then you say the question.
yeah. Verbal cues are just like there's sounds out of your mouth while they're talking. Ah, really? Okay. Now I'm exaggerating this. You're not going to do this every 2 seconds, but every 8, 12 seconds while prospects answering a question. Really? Uh-huh. Oh, okay, but what happened next after? Ah, but I'm not understanding. See, verbal cues, I want to bridge from question to question. Okay. This is called bridging. All right. When you bridge from question to question, I'll just do it. Let's do a role play, Matt. Let's just let's pick an industry like lead generation. Walk me through. What do you guys do to generate new leads and clients now?
Yeah, like at the moment we have sort of Facebook ads going
Uh,
and we have a little bit of Google ads as well. Yeah.
okay, Google though, like what, like ads or SEO, or how do you mean?
So we do SEO to the website.
And how long have you been like using SEO to the website and those two platforms for, just so I can see that?
Oh yeah, so we've been going for I think we've been doing that for about 6 months, and then we've been doing the meta ads for about a year and a half. And we have an agency that sort of does each one.
What agency do you use though?
We use XYZ.
Yeah, they're fairly decent. What caused you to go with them compared to like maybe bringing it in-house?
Well, like we just don't really have the talent in house at the moment to be able to
Hmm.
facilitate the ads. Yeah.
Okay. See how we're just conversational there? The reason why it sounded conversational, I'm saying like, oh, right. But how long have you been with okay, but how long have you been using? See, and then I'm asking the next question. I'm bridging into the next question where it sounds natural. Okay, like think about the best actor or actress you guys love. When you watch them in a movie, everything they say is what? 100% scripted, right? But does it sound scripted to you? No, because if it did, you wouldn't watch it. You'd be like, oh, it sounds weird. So a lot of you, it's not your fault, but you've been trained how to ask a question, then you listen, and then at the end you say, "Gotcha," or "Cool, awesome, awesome." I'm curious.
The
Let me ask
worst
you.
is they have a positive,
Yeah,
like, okay, great, okay, great. It's like, yeah, my my partner just passed away and we lost the house. Okay, great. Oh, great, great. And you
Yeah.
guys laugh, but a
So
lot of you do it. I see it a lot.
yeah, exactly. Now, I want to go back to the tone because this is really important for you guys, and then we're going to go back to Q&A because if you can start learning this, a lot of the questions you're struggling with, you just don't have the issue anymore. Okay? Why do I get this objection? Tone. So there's a lot of different types of tones that we train you, but these are the 5 that we train you in our courses to master the most. You got a confused tone. Now, sometimes people are like, well, why would I want a confused tone? That doesn't make any sense, Jeremy. I have to be an expert. I agree. I don't mean you get into a presentation, you're like, oh, I don't know how it works. I'm confused. That doesn't make any sense. But in certain contexts, if I want to have a pattern interrupt, or if I want a prospect to relive their pain, when I ask a question in a confused tone, what their brain does is basically say this: oh, he didn't understand what I meant by that. I need to clarify that more. Literally. So remember when I gave you that example where, let's say, a prospect says, I'm feeling a lot of stress. Hold on. Stress? See, that's a confused tone. That triggers her to be like, he didn't understand what I meant by that. And they expand on it. Now, when they expand on their pain, they're doing what? Reliving the pain. What are the 2 biggest emotional drivers? We went over that yesterday that cause a human being to want to change: pain or the fear of future pain, right? So that's where we'd use a confused tone. There's other contexts. We teach all that in our courses. Now, there's other questions you're going to use more of a curious tone. Oh, same thing when I said to Matt there, I gave you an industry specific example. If I'm a marketing agency, what do you guys do now to generate new leads and clients? It's just a curious tone, right? There's other questions I want to ask in more of a challenging tone. Now, can I ask questions in a challenging tone in the first probably 1 or 2 minutes of a sales conversation when I don't have any trust or credibility? More than likely not, right? But if I build a gap from where they are to where they want to be, I have that trust and I can challenge them, right? Okay, but what if this doesn't change and you keep getting these lower quality leads? I mean, what is your boss going to do to you at that point? See, that's more of a challenging tone that gets them to defend themselves on why they have to change, right? Now, where would we use a concern tone? Matt, Marco, why would we want to use a concern tone?
When you're concerned and when you want the person to feel concerned.
Yeah. Right.
Show
Exactly.
it. Okay.
The biggest things that I want you guys to learn here, right? So in it's not really about like what you feel on the sales call, right? Because you're the ghost. It's about what you want them to feel. So if you want them to amplify that level of problems or that concern or awareness about a problem, then you're concerned.
Yeah.
About it.
Yeah. Remember, I said yesterday, your tone is how the prospect interprets the intention behind your question. So if you want them to feel that you're concerned for them, you have to learn how to use a concerned tone. Oh, what happened? That's a concerned tone, right? So there's more trust. Well, hey, John, can I ask something? What's really holding you back? Concerned tone. See, difference? There's a lot of other examples to show you. And then we have a playful tone. Remember when I showed you some playful tones there? When I walked in the boardroom? You guys have it written. You haven't texted. You haven't even emailed me. We might have to break up. See the playful tone, right? Oh, just hanging out, being boring. What about you? You being boring over there? That's a playful tone because I want to open them up. Does that answer your question about tone? I know that's a long explanation, but that type of stuff will help you a lot.
Soundboards can be useful as well. I've done the old, and I've used the wah sound on a sales call before.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's look at some other questions here. There's a ton of questions here.
Hey guys, I have to run. Thank you so much.
We got you, Matt. We got you, Matt.
Your work. Thank you so much. You guys are in very good hands.
So how about Jill Allen? I need help with just the intro on a call instead of saying getting back to you. Can we pull Jill Allen up? Can we pull her up? So guys, when you ask a question, tell us what industry you're in. Do you do outbound, inbound, cold calling? Because that helps us conceptually understand how to answer your question. If we don't know what industry you're in, we're going to give you more of a generic answer because we don't know enough. Can we let her in where she can
Yeah, Jill now has talking permitted.
Jill, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Just chilling like a villain. What about you?
Doing wonderful.
Could be trouble. All right. What industry are you in? What do you sell?
Life insurance. final
Uh,
expense
One of the
specifically.
biggest industries we train. All right, what's your question?
So I try to redo my script based on your training, and I
Oh,
always
hold on.
find myself.
What training? Are you one of our clients?
Oh, no. I just mean based on things I've read and videos I've watched.
Yeah,
So
that's a problem because you're not knowing the ins and outs, but go ahead.
just changing that first sentence, instead of the, hey, it's Jill just getting back to you about blah, 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 blah. I know I need to get rid of that getting back to you because that's what everyone sounds like. So I'm
Now,
trying.
are you talking to, give me an example. Are you talking to a prospect you've already talked to?
No,
A brand
no.
new
So somebody responding to a TV lead or a Facebook request, somebody that I've never spoken to before. And I know their information because I got it through that, but I don't know how to tell them why I'm calling.
Okay, so what are you saying? Just give me word for word. It's one of the biggest industries to train. We even have industry specific insurance portals for our clients in your industry that they go through.
Yeah, definitely interested in talking about that more. So I say, hey, it's Jill just getting back to you with the name of our company. You had responded to our TV commercial and you were looking for some more information on final expense, and I just wanted to help you out.
You talk that fast?
Yeah, I'm from Boston. I know I have to slow down.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay. We train lots of people on the East Coast. So first thing we want to slow down. I would now, are these, give me an example. Are these, when you say TV leads, are they like age leads where they're months old, or did they come in like that day fresh and hot? Because it'd be different.
No, so what would happen if I was calling them back, I guess? Because the live ones I have no problem with. It's the ones that I'm calling back. So maybe I missed a live transfer or it came in after hours.
How old
So I
is the
still
lead?
leave the
That's
next
what
day.
I'm asking. How old
Probably
is
like
it?
2 to 3 days.
Okay. Now when you call back a lead 2 days, do they remember doing that, or do they always say like, oh, I don't remember doing that?
It's probably 50-50 on that.
Okay. So there's two different ways we can approach that. Okay. So I might, like, if I'm getting a lot of pushback where usually if it's an age lead, it's going to be a lot different than if it's like a brand new lead. So if it's a brand new lead or a day old, like, hey, is this John? Yeah, John. It's just it's Caden. I just had a second to get back to you. I'm licensed with the state. Looks like you put in your information about possibly looking at like different options for final expense, like like burial insurance. Were you looking for anything specific or just wanting to look over all the options?
Awesome.
See what I did there?
Yep.
See how I verbal paced that out? See how I acted like it wasn't a sales call? Like, do you see? Hey, is this Jade? Yeah, Jade. It's just Caden. Caden, I just had a second to get back to you. I'm licensed with the state. I received your request you put in about possibly looking at like burial coverage insurance. Were you looking for anything specific or just wanting to look over all the options? And they always say, I just want to look at the options. And what did I just do?
Started the call the way I needed to.
Started the conversation. And that's more of a brand, a day or two lead, but see the tone there. Because if I went like, hey, is this Jane? Hey, Jane, it's Caden. I just had a second to get back to you. I'm licensed with the state. I received the request you put in. Are you looking for anything specific or just insurance? I'm talking too fast. So
Right.
they feel like it's a what? Sales call.
Sales.
So that triggers in your part of your brain called your survival brain. It triggers fight or flight mode, and you can't even hear. They're not even hearing what you said. They're just hearing your tone because it's too fast, and they're just reacting. Okay. Now, if it's an age lead for your industry, because we teach a lot of final expense life insurance that literally makes sales from like leads that are 6 months old, and it's actually pretty easy when you do this. I'm going to do a different approach, right? I'm not going to do it like that. I'm like, hey, is John there? Yeah, John, it's just Caden. I just had a second to get back to you. You probably already got quite a few phone calls about this, but for whatever reason, it doesn't look like they got things updated in the system. Looks like you put in your name and address about possibly looking at like different like burial coverage. Were you looking for anything specific or just wanting to look over all the different options? Do you see what I did? For whatever reason, it doesn't look like things got updated in the system. Now, when I asked that question, it's like, oh, I don't remember that. Oh, I apologize. I don't know how we got this info. Have you been getting like a million phone calls? See my tone?
Oh yeah.
See what they do? Oh gosh, it's horrible. Everybody keeps calling. Let me get that updated for you. Now, do you already have life insurance in? If they say yes, oh, how long have you had it for? Oh, okay. What made you decide to go with them over like a different option? See, there's different options depending on if they say the yes or no, but it's just how I'm doing there. So if they're like, oh, I don't remember doing that, you just like agree, like, oh, I apologize. I don't know how we got this information. You've been getting like a million phone calls. Oh, and they'll just be like, oh yeah, it's horrible, blah, blah, blah. Let me get that updated for you. Now, do you already have like life insurance plan? They say no, we're gonna go a different route. If they say yes, we're gonna go different route. Does that help a little bit?
Absolutely. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
now, hey, if you want to learn more about like all the ins and outs, just
Yeah.
message us because we even have insurance specific portals and all that stuff. We train thousands in your space that crush it. So good
Yeah,
job.
I'm all about it. So thank you so much.
I hope that helped.
It did.
Marco, let's go through the mode. That was a really good question. I love that.
Good question.
Let's see. Luca Torbica. This is a good question. I run a marketing agency helping chiropractors. A marketing agency is a big industry for us with their patient acquisition, and I use a 2-call closed system. How would you recommend splitting the NPQ sales structure across 2 calls? Easy. Let's pull up Luca if we can. Luca Torbica. That person is in the Q&A. Can we pull them up? Luca.
Hey, Luca, how you doing?
You hear me?
Luca. All right. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so we're running a marketing agency for chiropractors, running their ads, qualifying their leads with our own AI system to get them patients or more patients than they're already getting.
Well, what are their problems?
Their ads are just inefficient, their lead costs are high, their show rates are low.
What are the consequences if they don't get that fixed?
They don't make as much money as they'd like.
What are the
can't
consequences if they don't make as much money as they like?
they can't support their family, can't scale their business.
What are the consequences if they can't support their family?
They become homeless.
No, that's serious. Like we would just want to go deeper, right? Okay, so what's your question?
So yeah, like using the entire NEPQ structure, like what would you say is the best way to split it across 2 calls? Like,
Like 2-call close?
yeah,
Okay, easy stuff. We teach all this in the portal. So basically, if you're in a 2-call close, and it even I'll show you some examples. If you're in a 3-call close or a 6-call close or a 12-month cycle, we're just going to do what we call micro commitments that get them to commit to the next step. So you're getting them to commit just to the next step appointment, right? So basically, you're going to take them through connection questions, which we're going to show you some examples tomorrow. I'll even throw in some marketing ones for you. Okay, since you came out here. So we get them to now, let me ask you this. Is it an outbound lead that you're calling, or is it like an inbound booked appointment?
it's a outbound lead.
So do you call them on the outbound and then try to like have a 10-minute conversation, then book them in for an inbound, or how does your process work?
Well, they're already slightly warm, so it's like outbound calls to people who have responded positively to like a cold DM outreach.
Okay. So the first call, you're going to call them and you're going to go through the connection phase. We're going to start showing you guys that tomorrow, get them to let their guard down. Situation questions to help them find out what their real situation is. Specifically, how are they marketing? What platforms, what their ad spend is, like just very specific stuff. So you have an idea of like the whole round picture there. Okay. And they start to get more of that idea in their mind. Then we're going to move into what are called problem awareness questions that start building the gap from where they currently are, from your situation questions to where they want to be. And after we help them feel that they have that gap, that problem, then we would book them into that next call where we actually do the discovery call. Okay. And in discovery, we go through maybe a few different situation questions just to, because let's say you book it 3 days out. That gap that you built 3 days before, where's it at then?
It's gone.
It starts to go back down, right? So if you just kind of jump into your presentation, you're missing the emotion there. So we show you how to ask a few different types of situation and problem awareness questions. And then we go into solution awareness questions where they see what the future looks like. Okay. And then do you have like a presentation?
Yeah.
Then we would teach you how to go through your presentation and get them to commit the next step to purchase. That's how we'd break up the 2-call close for your space.
But also, I'll give you an advice, right? Think about it. So it comes down on outcomes. That's why NPQ works really well, because you can tell up the outcome that makes sense for them to show up on the second call. Because
Mhm.
look at the next problem you're gonna have is you're gonna call them, book them in the second call, or either you're gonna have the first call and the second call, and they're not gonna show up,
Yep.
right? Now, why would they show up on a second call? They will show up on a second call if they understand it's worth my time.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
built the gap where they feel like the need to show up.
Because the currency that you have in exchange, especially in a, let's say in a cold call as well, right? That's super similar. Anything that is outbound or even inbound and there is a second call, your currency that you're trading is they feel that their time is worth to be on the phone with you.
Yeah.
And the only way that that works is when they realize that they got a problem. So that's why it's called problem awareness. You're like, oh, okay, I totally get it.
I
Once
feel
they-
there's problems I didn't know I had.
Yeah.
Now, the general sales guy, once someone has a problem, will be like, oh, I got a solution for you and hear me out. Now, that won't work because
You're only going to
you
get the lay down sales that way.
exactly right. Because you want them to understand that, well, I'm not quite sure if we can, but that's why we're going to next call. We can see if there is a possibility to do so. So I
Yeah.
would take 20 hours to understand what's your situation and how can we put it together.
Yeah. So
You see,
good. Yeah.
No, go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, you know, build the gap exactly like Marco said. Now they feel like a need to show up. So, you know, instead of a lot of people in your industry, they'll get like a 40 or 50% show up rate. Our clients in your space are getting like 90% to show up just because they build a gap, like Marco said, where the prospect feels the need and the want to show up, not, oh, I'm just kind of busy today. I don't feel like it. And they just ghost you. Right. And so, you know, at the end of that call, like, okay, good first call. It gives me a better understanding of what's going on. Really, the next step would be, if it helps, is we would schedule an XYZ call, and I can show you like specifically how we're able to solve this problem, this problem, this problem for our clients in your space. Will that help you if I took the time to do that for you? See, I remember who has the problem, the prospect or you?
Prospect.
Yeah. So why would you be qualifying to them? They should be qualifying to you. So we train you how to do that, like in our client portal. It's like how I'm flipping that around. Would that help you if I took the time to do that for you? Oh, that would help me. Yes. See, now I raise my status rather than like trying to beg them to book another call. Does that help?
Yeah, that makes
Okay.
a lot of sense. So
All right,
really
man.
a few like a certain set of situation questions and problem awareness in the first call, and then in the second call, like a different set of situation and problem awareness, then transition to solution
Yeah,
awareness.
and I might say, and we, yeah, like I said, we just like I might get on that second call now. Hey, remind me again. I know we talked a couple of days, and I took notes, but my mom says I write like a doctor, like scratchy, like a scribble notes, and always laugh like, oh, yeah, that's right. Remind me again. What did you said that you'd use Facebook and what other platform for ads again? Oh, that's right. And you just go right back into it, and they'll just laugh and just open right back up. But if you just
Yeah.
go ask the same questions, like I already told you that. But if I make fun of myself, hey, remind me again, because I took notes, but you know, my girlfriend, she says I suffer from amnesia in my old age. And let's say you're 25 and they're like, oh, you're so young. They'll just laugh. And remind me again, and I just go right back into it. So does that help?
Yeah, that helps a lot. Thank you guys.
Perfect. That's a good question, man.
Thank you
Okay,
guys.
here's one from Kevin Coleman in the Q&A. How do you handle the request for references when you are a startup? Let's bring him up. Kevin Coleman, I think. Hopefully I'm from Arkansas. We don't know how to pronounce names.
What's his name, Jeremy?
Kevin, Poehlman. He's in the Q&A.
Okay, I found him here. There we go. He should be able to talk now.
Kevin,
Okay, I'm here.
what do you sell?
Two drastically different things, actually. I work with management consulting, basically doing M&A advisory.
Yeah,
And on the
big
side,
industry.
I am doing a startup home services business.
Yeah, home service is probably one of the top industries you train. How did they know your startup?
No history anywhere.
How would they know that?
No reviews.
They just ask you, hey, are you a startup?
No, but no reviews if they look online.
Okay, but can I suggest something to you?
Sure.
I sold in a couple of startups when I was in different industries. And the only some salespeople would get that all the time because they were triggering sales resistance that would cause the prospect to go do that. I never got that anytime. They could have thought I was a Fortune 500 company. They had no idea. Do you know why?
Nope.
Because I knew how to build a gap from
Sure.
where they were to where they want to be, where that never even came into their mind.
Yeah.
So what you have is a downstream issue. That prospect didn't get up that day and said, you know what? When I have that sales call with Kevin, about 15 minutes in, I'm going to ask him if they're a startup. See, that's a triggered reaction. And it's not, look, I said, we're going to train you this, not your fault, right? But it is your
Yeah.
problem. That's a triggered reaction because you haven't learned yet how to build a gap for them to emotionally open up. So that triggers in your brain. I'm a behavioral scientist. It triggers in your brain uncertainty. Uncertainty, when you trigger that, is what actually causes objections to happen. Would I be right there, Marco?
Yes. And let me ask you a question, Kevin, right? Because of course I want to help you, right?
Yeah,
I
we're going
want
to
you
show you, but we just want you to
Sure.
understand it's a downstream issue. Go ahead, Marco.
So Kevin, do you cold call? Do you outbound? They come to you? Like, how's that work?
Honestly, as far as the home services side, this question is
Well, thank you for being honest.
and it's anticipation. I
Kevin,
have
I just showed you something, Kevin.
Yep.
Anytime a prospect says, well, just to be honest with you, do you know what you're going to say? Well, thank you for being honest. Why would I say that? What does that trigger?
That another pattern interrupt?
Think about it. If I say that in a playful, well, thank you for being honest, that implies what?
That you're being honest.
That I'm honest.
Yeah.
See, I'm seeding that.
Yep.
Okay. You gave me a layup there. I had to help you.
No, it's fine. So I have not gone live with that business yet. So that's actually my question there on the home services side really came out of a discussion I actually had with the people I'm using for lead gen when I go live.
So, okay. So
Yeah.
you haven't had prospects actually say this for you.
Nope.
Yeah.
I basically I was trying to figure out if I need to counter it.
Yeah, I explain you why. I give you an understanding. Remember that it is really important. There is 800 people here, and we are all in sales, right? We're all fearful to jump on the phone. It doesn't matter. But what makes the conversation being at ease or better is being confident in you, but not being confident in what you sell, but being confident in your skills. Like Jeremy said yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So right now, what you're thinking is what is gonna, like, your mind is set on what are the things that can happen because I've got some sort of issue in terms of that I don't have, right? Or as a business, or I'm just starting out. So your own confidence coming in. So the idea being is a sales process, which is totally different. The outcome of a sales process is not to give them what you have, but it's to find out what they have. Totally different. Because if you are in the mindset of finding out things, then who you are doesn't really matter because you found a problem that they don't know they have. So you're an expert.
You
Sure.
build situational status. No one will
Right.
ever ask you that question once you learn NEPQ and we show you how to build your status. They literally
Sure.
will never go looking. Now, let me give you an example. Let's pretend 1 out of 1,000,000 does. You want me to help you, like with a Band-Aid?
Absolutely.
So the prospect said, hey, are you a startup? Oh, yeah, for sure. That's probably one of the biggest reasons why people come to us. Why would I say that? Oh, yeah, for sure. It's actually one of the biggest reasons why people are coming to us. Now, a lot of people ask me, why? Do you want to know why?
I'd love to know why.
Yeah, I'd love to know. Well, because typically, have you ever worked with, now, what do you sell? I don't know what you sell in home services.
Garage storage and flooring.
Yeah. So the reason why a lot of people come to us, at least what our clients say, is because when they've used like the bigger companies, you ever use like a bigger company? Sometimes you feel what?
Invisible.
What's happened? Tell me where you felt invisible.
Didn't get good service. Didn't get attention.
Yeah.
Didn't get callback.
Yeah. So they that's why they come to us, because they want like the service and the intention that smaller startup companies have, where they're more personalized. Is that what you're possibly looking for?
Yeah.
See how easy that is? But
Yep.
I'm going to tell you, you learn NEPQ, you're just not going to have people that say that, because that's a triggered reaction downstream because you didn't build any gap and they've stayed surface level. And so you've triggered uncertainty that causes them to go out and try to find something wrong. Where
Sure.
we would train you to prevent the objection, build status from where they to where they want to be, where they view you as the expert. They don't even think you're a startup. And if you are, that's just how you do it. Yeah, that's actually the biggest reason why people come to us. Now, a lot of people ask me, Jeremy, why is that? Do you want to know why? Yeah, sure. Why? You ever work with like bigger companies? And have you ever noticed something happens when you work with like the big companies? Have you ever noticed that? And you just imply, like, yeah, they don't treat me. I feel like I'm visible. I feel I'm a number. Yeah. So that's why people come to me, because they want what? Yeah, they want the service. No
Personal
answer. Like,
service.
I want
Yep.
service. Is that what you're possibly looking for? Oh yeah, that'd be great. Concern, easily handled.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Thank you.
Hope that helps. Show up tomorrow. I'll show you a
Absolutely.
bunch more stuff tomorrow.
All right, that's great. Thanks a lot, Jeremy.
You're welcome. That was a really good question. What did the gap mean on previous webinar? I missed the beginning. I can just answer this one, Marco. Okay, so here's what I mean by the gap. Okay. In every sales situation, there's two places it starts. Okay. The prospect, here's what gap means. Okay. So the gap is, what is the prospect's real situation right now? Now, most prospects don't really know what their real situation is. Would I be right? They don't understand what the real problems are. They don't understand how bad the problems are. They don't understand the consequences of what happens if they don't do anything. So the gap is from what is their real situation. Now, we call that their current state. Everybody write this down. This might be important to you. Current state. The gap is from their real situation or current state to where they want to be. This is the gap. Now, where they want to be, that is their future, right? Now, we call that their objective state. Objective state. We have current state. What is their situation right now? Where do they want to be? Objective state. What does the future look like once the newfound problems are solved? Now, what is the gap? The gap in the middle is the newfound problems that your questioning ability and your tone allow them to start to discover that they didn't realize they even had. Now, the bigger the gap, the bigger the what? The more urgency for them to want to what? Change. Now, how do you cause the gap? You can't tell them what the gap is, right, Marco? If I told, the gentleman right here, home services, like if I was selling home services and I told them all the problems they had, the prospect doesn't believe me because I'm biased. I'm the salesperson, right? But the gap, if I ask certain questions that get them to tell themselves what their problems are, now becomes real, because the prospect has said that I've just facilitated that. I've helped them relive their pain and have a fear of future pain. And that gap becomes so big that they feel like I have to change now. That's what the gap means. Okay. Let's get some other questions here. Okay, Jake Botting. He's in the Q&A. How do you use NEPQ if you have a stubborn prospect that avoids releasing their pains, concerns, objections they have? Maite, let's bring up Jake Botting in the Q&A. That's a good question. Let's cover that.
He should be able to talk now.
Jake, how are you? Jake Botting, you there?
Are you there?
Jake, you got to mute yourself, brother. This is a really good question. I'll just answer it real quick. So I want to make sure everybody understands. So most of the time, 90% of the time, that is a downstream issue. Did that prospect wake up in the morning and say, you know what, when that salesperson calls at 1:35 today, because their tone sounds a little bit too excited, I think I'm just going to stay stubborn and I'm going to stay like surface level. When they ask me questions, I'm just going to keep all my problems to my chest and then I'm going to tell them I want to think it over at the end. Was that a planned thing they were going to do, or was that a triggered reaction based on us, the salesperson? It's based on us, the salesperson, right? So that's a downstream issue. So, you know, if you're in our portals, we teach you how to do this. We're going to start training you a lot of this tomorrow, just in the free challenge, is we're going to show you how to, like with connection questions, how to get them to let their guard down very, very quickly with a playful tone, and how to keep their guard down by using verbal cues when you transition and bridge from question to question, where they never get their guard up. Now, let's say 1 out of a million people have their guard up because you just haven't learned how to do that. I can simply lean in and be like, hey, can I ask you something? Yeah, sure, what's going on? What's really going on over there that's caused you guys to maybe look at changing companies? You can tell me. Okay, and I just lower my tone, concern tone. There's a lot of different tweaks in there. Can I ask you something? Now, this is off the record. What's your biggest problem that you're having? Lower tone. I mean, there's so many different ways I could do that, but I will tell you, 95% of the time, it's a trigger reaction based on your tonality and just not understanding what questions to ask to get them to let their guard down in the beginning. Okay. Let's see. Debbie Ferrari. We have to take this question, Marco. Debbie Ferrari. Can we pull up Debbie Ferrari? How do you engage an old lead that you never called? Let's pull up Debbie Ferrari. I love this one.
Hello.
Hey, Debbie.
Hey, what's going on, Debbie? What do you sell?
Nothing. Pardon me? I sell insurance.
What kind of insurance?
I do annuities, IULs,
Big
you know,
industry,
things.
big, huge industry retrain.
Yes, it is.
Okay, what's your question?
So I had a bunch of leads that I was giving that my company put an ad out on the Facebook, and I never called them.
Huh?
And I want to call them now, and I don't know how to start that conversation.
Tell me what you say now. I'll help you some tweaks. Just like real role play. What do you say now?
I haven't even called them because I don't know what to say, but probably what I would say is,
What would you say if you really thought about it?
you know, hi, Joe, this is Debbie Ferrari. I'm calling because you at some point filled out information that you are looking for some information on a way to invest your money. And I'm not sure if you've got a call back, but I'm the person in charge to make sure that somebody had returned your call. And I don't, is that okay or no?
Well, I don't want you just to be okay, because okay is not going to help you help a lot of people solve their problems, right?
Exactly.
We want you to be great, because who has the problems? You are the prospect.
They do.
Yes. So if we're okay, we can't help very many people. And if we help people, we get compensated for that, which you should. So remember, were you here a little bit ago with the final expense lady where I kind of went through
Yes.
that example? Did you hear my tone?
Mm-hmm.
So remember, I want to engage. I want to help them feel like they should be familiar with me. Hey, is this John? Yeah, John, it's Debbie. Debbie Ferrari. You asked us to call you back. It looks like you filled out some details. This was like a month ago or something like that. This was like a month ago. I'm looking at this. You inquired and asked us to get back with you because you were looking at like different ways, like for retirement, like through IULs. Were you looking at a specific investment vehicle, or just wanting to go over all the different options?
Okay.
What did I just do?
You just opened up the door for them to maybe engage.
I said, you asked us to call you back. Why
Mhm.
would I say that?
So that they know that it's just not some random call that they're getting, that
Because
you
I want them to feel like I'm doing a favor, because I'm not the one that has the problems.
okay.
Right. So I'm saying, yeah, you asked us to call you back. You filled out a form. I think it was on Facebook. You asked us to call you back to go over some details on like Index Universal Life for like retirement. Were you looking at different options for that, or just kind of go over all the different options?
Okay.
And depending on what they say there would depend on what I would ask next. It just all
Okay.
But you see how I'm drawing them? Yeah, it's just Debbie. It's Debbie Ferrari. See my tone? What did that
Mhm.
sound?
Sound that you're just trying to help
Yeah,
them out.
it's just Debbie.
Yeah, like you're a
Now,
friend that we.
yes. Now, some people say like, oh, don't use the word just. You got to make sure you sound important. Well, if I'm calling old leads, it doesn't matter if you're important. They don't care. They don't know who you are. So the word just in that context implies that they should already be familiar with me. Yeah, it's just Dave. Dave Hansen. Now they're thinking like, Dave Hansen, who's Dave Hansen? Like it's just Dave Hansen. It's just now I'm like, it's just Dave Hansen. I'm calling you back. You sound like a telemarketer, right? You're gonna get hung up all the time. Yeah, it's just Dave. Dave Ferrari. You asked us to call you back about 3 weeks ago. You filled out a form. You wanting like details on like Index Universal for like retirement. Were you wanting to look at IULs or just kind of look at all the different options? And depending
Okay.
on what they're like, oh yeah, I'm looking for that, or they'll be like, no, I don't remember doing that. Would be depending on what I say next. Now we teach all
Okay.
this in our virtual training courses. So tomorrow I'll even try to throw in some examples for you into the. Are you coming tomorrow?
Yes, for sure.
Might be good for you. Does that help?
Yes, it did. Thank you so much.
There's a lot more to that after that, but hopefully that gave you a little introduction.
All right, great. Thank you, Jeremy.
Good job. I don't want you to be okay. We do not want you to be okay. We want you to be great. Okay. You can help a lot
I
of
am.
people. It's a great industry.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Marco, let's go over some other questions. Yeah. You good on time?
Let's go. I've got 10 minutes, but we can
Okay.
go. Of course.
Yeah, let's go 12 minutes. Okay, Mark Zachary, I love this question. We train a ton of people in your industry. Mark Zachary, mortgage rate objection. Any argument? Hey, I just want 65 quotes. This is the easiest one in the world. Can we bring Mark Zachary up?
Hey, Mark, what's up?
Hey guys, how are y'all?
Mar, hey, we're chilling like villains over here.
Well,
What's going on with
You
you?
guys are doing a great job and I appreciate everything you're sharing.
Hey, anytime. Okay, so tell me what's going on. We train a ton of people in your space that crush it.
So yeah, I'm in the mortgage world, and
Yeah.
we get these issues that my I've been taught that I need to get 55 estimates on 50 different mortgage programs.
Hold on. The prospect gets on the phone. It's like, I've been taught I've got to get 55 different estimates.
Yeah, well, I'm probably adding
Tell
to
me
the
exactly
conversation
where
there.
it happens and what they say, and I'm going to show you what to do.
Okay. So yeah, they're calling. Hey, I was given your name and number by so and so, and just wanted to get a quote from you to see where you are. And I'm getting like 5 or 6 different quotes.
You're saying that? I'm just
No,
calling you.
that's what they're saying. And then I will come in and say, well, what are you looking at? Are you looking for a 30-year fixed? What are you looking to be there X number of years to try to solve their issue of, hey, I may not even need a 30-year. I may need a 20-year. So I try to get the information on what are their plans long term for their mortgage.
Okay, so let's say the prospect gets on there and like, hey, can you just tell me what the rates are going to be? Don't you?
What would I say?
No, do you get that?
Oh,
Can you
yeah.
just tell me what the rates are going to be? And
Yep.
when did they say that in the conversation?
Depends on if they just called me out of the blue or if I have called them because I was referred to them from a realtor.
Okay, you got 3 choices. You can tell them the rate without building any gap. Probably not going to work out so good for you. Then you're just commoditized because you haven't built any gap. So they
Right.
just view you as like, oh, I just want the cheapest rate, right?
Yep.
There'll always be somebody cheaper than you. If you don't want to sell that way, because you're never going to you're not going to do that well selling on price. You're commoditized.
Right.
Second option, sweep underneath the rug, try to ignore it, hope and pray they don't bring it up again. It doesn't work that well. Or remember, we're going to answer it indirectly where it makes sense to them on how we don't know what the rate would be yet. So what I want to do is when they say like, hey, can you just kind of, I don't have time. I don't have time for the questions. Like, can you just tell me the rates? I'll tell you if I'm interested. Oh yeah, we'll go through all that for sure. I mean, it's really going to all depend on like your FICO score, kind of what the loan amount is that you're trying to get. And they're obviously going to want to know about the property and like, your different income sources, like kind of what all that looks like.
Yeah.
And once I understand all those different details, I can go through all the different options we would have. Would that help you more if I did that for you?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. What's your question? And then now it makes sense why I'm asking questions to build the gap.
Got it.
I wouldn't want to just go in, are you looking for this or looking for that? Because that's more about the solution. I want to find out what the real situation is right now.
Okay. Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely.
You just agree. Oh, yeah. We'll go through all that for sure. Why would I agree right there?
Yeah.
Got to get their guard down. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll go through that for sure. I mean, it's really all going to depend on like your FICO score, the loan amount. I'm going to need to know some details about the loan you're trying to get, type
Yeah.
of property. We have to understand that, and really what your income sources kind of look like. And once I understand like all those different details, I can go through all the different options we would have. Would that help if I did that for you? No one will ever say no. They'll be like, yeah, because it makes sense. But you
Right.
don't know what the rate is because you don't understand those details yet.
Right.
Does that
Okay.
help?
That's great. Thank you.
Okay. Easy peasy. I love your industry. We've trained a ton in that industry. If you want some training on that, just let us know tomorrow because we got tons of people in our portals and your space that are crushing it in 2023 when your industry was what? Getting
Yeah. Yeah.
crushed.
Very challenging.
Not for our clients.
Yeah.
They don't have to depend on interest rates from the Federal Reserve. They depend on their skill level with their sales ability. That's why they're still crushing it. So you
Yeah.
don't have to depend on the interest rates anymore. You can depend on your skills if you want to. You coming tomorrow?
Oh yeah. I'll be here.
Good. It'll be fun tomorrow. Somebody says, Marco, are you single? He is not. He has a very committed girlfriend. She loves this guy. He loves her. Everybody stay away from Marco and his girlfriend. They're great. We're just giving you a hard time, Kelly. Okay. Is there any customized NPQ questions are available for life insurance salespeople to share with us? What questions do you want? Peoria Shivarez. Well, what questions do you want? We trained this, I think the second or third largest industry in the world. We train tens of thousands in your space. We have even insurance specific portals for you guys. Do we want to bring out Peoria? Tell me what questions you want. Is it POURIA KESHAVARZ? You have a really cool name. My name is very boring, Jeremy Miner. So can we bring, I don't know how to pronounce your name. You slap me around here. Peoria, can we bring her out or him or her out?
Yeah, I just gave them the permission to talk.
You got to tell us how to pronounce your name because I feel awful. Are they on?
They're on, they're just muted.
Unmute yourself. We got about 5-7 minutes here. This is a good question.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Colin Anderson. A lot of this material is tailored to mid-market. We sell dentist. Colin, we train 161 industries, including yours, but we can't give all 161 examples for every questions in a 2-hour training. I'd love to do that, but yours is one of the biggest industries we train, actually. So Nuvia Smiles is a client. We have tons of people that sell to dentists all day long. And AI software, that's SaaS. It's like the 6th largest industry we train. How do you build a lot of value with office manager and hygiene staff and getting to a doctor? Can we bring out Colin Anderson? It's a good question. Colin Anderson, the Q&A. It's a really good question, actually. SaaS is a big industry for us. AI, SaaS, yeah. Bring out Colin Anderson.
Yep, he should be able to talk now.
Colin, what do you got? Colin Anderson. Got to meet yourself. Going once, going twice. Sorry, Colin. Nathaniel Livingston. Let's bring Nathaniel Livingston. I was accused of reading the script today in the prospect hung up. How do you change up your opener to change the tone? Let's bring Nathaniel Livingston on.
I am not seeing him here.
Not seeing him here? Okay. We got what's the best way to knock on a door to sell solar appointment? Jared Swanson. That's a good question. Solar is a huge industry we train. That's probably in the top 10 now. Do we even know the stats, Marco? I know sometimes it's the 2nd biggest, 7th biggest, huge industry.
I can find out.
I think it's still in one of the top industries we train in the world. Jared Swanson, let's bring him out. That's a good question.
Yeah, he's here. He
Jeremy?
should be able to talk.
Jared, what's up, big dog?
Hi. Currently I'm a appointment setter for a solar company here locally in Arizona, and I wanted to get your thoughts on the best way you would go about knocking on the door and essentially ask if they have a high electric bill, if they want to lower it, then offer them information to schedule an appointment.
What do you think every appointment setter that sells solar is asking at the very beginning?
I don't know. I would say that probably hi, my name is, I'm with XYZ company. You know, we've got a whatever $50, $100, whatever solar system.
You don't want to sound like everybody else, right? Because like, so solar not
Right.
interested, right?
Exactly. Yeah, not interested.
Tell me what you say.
Pretty much, hi, my name is Jared. You're not expecting me. We're just currently visiting the neighborhood, conducting research. Our research says that energy rates are high in this area. Wanted to ask
Ours
how
aren't
high.
that bad.
Yeah, wanted to ask how high your electric bill, I guess, got for the summertime, June, July, August.
It's not that bad. Thanks anyways.
Yeah.
See, when I say our research says that the bills are high in this area, want to know how high your bills got. Most people, because they feel like you're trying to sell them something, are going to say, "What? Oh, my bills are horrible." The laydowns will, right?
Right.
What do most people say?
Most people say, yeah, actually, I got really high. It's like, $500 or higher.
And you say?
I say, yeah, I know. Yeah, there's those electric bills can be high. The good news is, and then government passed the Inflation Reduction Act, and then we go into, we have a $50 a month solar system to replace your current electric bill. Would you like more information on that?
And
most people say either yes, no, or they immediately hear the word solar, and that's the trigger word, or they
can I help you? Can I help you trigger curiosity instead of they're not really listening to you? They're just kind of like, how do I get rid of this person on my door?
Yes, yeah. The politely dismiss me. Yes.
Yeah. Because like, look, you have a great product or service, right? So you're not selling solar, right? You're selling the results of what solar does for them. And what are the results that solar does for them? Protects them against the rate hikes, right? Is that what it does? Okay.
Yep.
In most cases, lowers their bill. And if you sound like the PPA, eventually they might not have a bill. So that's what you're selling, the results of what solar does, right? So if I want to have a pattern interrupt, what I want to do, huge industry for train your space. And my first industry I sold in was door to door. So this is where I started learning pattern interrupts before I got into B2B and then some B2B stuff. Okay. So what most people would do, hi, my name is, we're out in your neighborhood visiting to blah, 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 blah. And most people just aren't even hearing that. They're trying to figure out how do I get rid of them politely rather than being rude. So just realize that's what's going on in their brain. So what we have to do is we have to trigger curiosity. Okay. What do you wear?
Okay.
Knock on the door.
Construction vest. So generally speaking, most people confuse this with government official or city official.
Perfect. That's what I want you to do. That's a pattern interrupt. No, I'm serious. It's a pattern interrupt. Okay. Wear a construction vest, tape measure. They don't look at you as a salesperson. You have a clipboard. I would get a clipboard. I have like some documents on, like I was writing notes. They thought I was maybe taking a survey, meter reader, construction. They just didn't know. Right there triggers curiosity. So this is where I would teach you how to use a confused tone in the beginning to draw them in. Okay. So when I knock on the door, they're coming. I'm like looking around. I'm writing stuff down. I'm probably looking at the roof, right? Because solar goes on the roof. So I'm looking on the roof and they're coming to the door. Hey, how can I help you? Yeah. Are you guys the property owners here? Yeah. We're the property owners. What's going on? Well, I'm Jeremy. I apologize. I've only got a couple of minutes. I have an appointment across the street, but I stopped by to see if you could possibly help me out for a moment. Sure. Yeah. What's going on? Well, I'm not sure if you speak with your neighbors or know what's going on, but it's actually, it might be easier if I showed you like, this is your house. And then I pull out like an iPad like this and I stand to the side. This is your house. And these are like all your neighbors. They get their electricity from us, not XYZ Power. And no, we're not selling like solar panels. If that made sense, you'd probably already have them on the roof. But the reason why we're out here is we compete with XYZ Energy. Like, what was the main reason why you chose them to pay them for your electricity? What would they say?
We have no choice, or that's the only company or provider in the area.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh yeah, we have no choice. And then you're gonna say, now this is probably a cheesy question, but are you opposed to homeowners having a choice? Why would I say opposed?
Because they're gonna probably say, well, no, I'm not opposed.
They're like, no, I'm not opposed. I'm triggering a reaction. No, I'm not opposed. Well, and it might not even make sense for us to talk. And like I said, I've only got a couple of minutes. So how it works when it works, and I'm not even promising you I can do anything for you, but instead of you like, being stuck in like that never ending contract with, Nevada Power Energy where they can just, raise your rates to whatever they want, then they do what? They force you to pay it till you die, or they like shut your electricity off. So we just have like a basic program where instead of you having to buy like the 30,000 plus solar panel system, like a lot of your neighbors did several years ago, we're just able to offer you the electricity like the panels produce, and the electricity it just costs less than if you're to buy it from the power lines. Now like I said, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves because some people we can't even do that for. I should probably ask, like, and then I go into my first situation question. Then I ask, like, I should probably ask, John, your electric bill, could you tell me a little bit about those? Like, I know most of the year they're pretty low, but what have they been making you pay lately? See what I just did? Now tell me a little, if you tell me a little about electric bill, I know most of you they're pretty low, but what have they been making you pay lately? Why would I downplay it first? I know most of you they're pretty low. Why would I do that?
Well, probably because if you start talking about features and benefits, they're going to say,
Yeah, if I start
yeah,
saying
they're
like,
not
oh, they're
interested.
raising the rates, they're so bad, a lot of people will mismatch it. Like, well, they're not that bad. Because you're trying to sell them, they know that. So if I downplay it, they start to let their guard down. I know most of you that are pretty low, but what have they been making you pay lately? See what I did with my hands? I know most of
That's
you that are pretty
cheating.
low. What have they been making you pay lately? Did you see making you pay? Why would I say
I love
making you
that.
pay?
Well, it's not like they're asking for a donation or volunteer. So yeah, what are they making you pay?
See,
I like
nobody
that.
likes to be made to do something or forced to do something. What type of rate hikes have they been forcing on you guys? See, I'm putting
Oh,
in the middle there. See where they like, I'm like the middle person. The evil empire power company keeps rate hikes, right? Now, if they're like, oh, I'm not really sure. Well, if you really thought about what have they been making you pay? Or I might say like, well, typically, yeah, I mean, I can show you. I got to go though. But if you look here at your neighbor's bill, he's just one of our clients. I mean, it's not crazy. It just went from like 13 cents a kilowatt, like every time the thing goes around to 28 cents a kilowatt in the last 3 years. So just a little bit over double what he was paying 3 years ago. What have they been making yours though? See, and that triggers thing like, oh, what was your bill
yeah,
3 years ago? Okay. See,
yeah.
and then we just go through. Now we teach you all this in the portal. You showing up tomorrow?
Oh yeah, yeah. This is amazing.
It's
Your
a
delivery.
huge industry we train. We even have solar specific portals like door approach, everything from start to the close. I mean, we got reps in your space that, I mean, they're like top 1% in the United States now.
Oh really? Awesome. That's
Yeah, so-
super exciting. Your delivery is phenomenal. Like that is amazing.
Well, we teach you how to do all this in the portals. Yeah, show up tomorrow. We'll show you a few more things. Good for you.
Oh,
Guys, did that help?
thank you.
Did that help you guys? To help anybody? Okay, I got to get out of here because I'm going to get killed and I got to get prepared for tomorrow. I got to make up some of the slides tomorrow. I got to change some things around for you. Marco, thanks for being on here, man.
Thank
You
you,
guys
Jeremy.
don't know, but Marco, like 4 years ago, was a client. This dude was like making $1 million a year in commissions. So he's the CEO of the company now. So you guys should like give Marco a hand of applause because if we didn't have him here, you guys wouldn't even know who we were. So well done.
Thanks to the team as well that put the event. Like I say yesterday, I would say all the time, thanks for the event. And guys, tomorrow is going to be the biggest day, which is great. Make sure that you prepare for tomorrow. So you go on go on YouTube, type Jeremy Miner. There is actually one thing is on that channel. In the meantime, you were talking, Jeremy, I found out our old call that you have there. So I live sales for the Jeremy has. So if you guys are gonna go and watch it, just go in there, subscribe and like and share it. So
yeah, you guys are welcome to join our free YouTube channel. Just type in my name, Jeremy Miner, on YouTube, and you can follow me on Instagram. It's just follow my what's it called? Verified account, Jeremy Lee. Jeremy
I'm
Lee Miner, M-I-N-E-R. There's like 640,000 followers or something. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to train for about 2 hours and 15 minutes. I will go a little bit longer because I'm going to add some stuff I just thought about. I might even go 2.5 hours if you guys want to learn more. So 6 to maybe 8:15, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I'll bring it for you. Hopefully we helped some of you guys today. And if we couldn't get to your question, because there's like 1,000 questions, hopefully what we showed you with some different tonality and just changing stuff will help you with what you sell. But tomorrow we'll see, you're going to have some fun. We love you guys. You did really good. Thanks, everybody. It's a great group. You guys are. Thanks, everybody.
looking forward to see you tomorrow. Ciao, Jeremy. Bye.
See you, Marco.